Good day, everyone. I am Andre Dardo, and I am here to share with you some of the significant events, historical places, and traditional beliefs of Filipinos. Site of the First Mass. The first Catholic Mass in the Philippines was on Easter Sunday, March 31, 1521, led by Father Pedro D. Valderrama in the shore of a town named as Limasawa in the tip of southern Leyte. Limasawa is known as the birthplace of Roman Catholicism in the Philippines. When Ferdinand Magellan and his European crew sailed from Sanlúcar de Barrameda for a journey to search for spices, these folks landed on the Philippines after the quest from their proximate areas. On March 28, 1521, while at sea, they saw a bonfire which turned out to be Limasawa where they anchored. Cavite Mutiny. 140 years ago, on January 20, 1872, about 200 Filipino military personnel of Fort San Felipe Arsenal in Cavite, Philippines, put on a mutiny which in a way led to the Philippine Revolution in 1896. The 1872 Cavite Mutiny was expedited by the removal of long-standing personal benefits to the workers such as tax or tribute and forced labor exemptions on order from the Governor-General Rafael Izquierdo. The mutineers were led by Sergeant Fernando Lamadrid. They seized the fort and killed the Spanish officers. The Spanish government in Manila sent a unit under General Felipe Genoves to recover the fort. The mutiny was destroyed and many mutineers including Sergeant Lamadrid were killed. Later, others were sentenced to death or hard labor. Retraction of Rizal. One of the most intriguing of all issues of Jose Rizal was his alleged retraction. The morning after the execution of Jose Rizal, the newspapers of Manila and Madrid recorded the event and announced that on the eve of his death, Rizal retracted his religious errors, abjured Freemasonry, and the last hours of his life had married Josephine Bracken. The Cry of Balintawak. The event that stirred in the Philippine Revolution against more than 300 years of Spanish occupation is as significant as it is controversial. Sick of the tyranny under foreign rule and craving for freedom and independence, Filipino revolutionaries under the leadership of Andres Bonifacio tore their cedulas or residence certificate as a sign of their resistance. News about the discovery of Katipunan spread to Manila and nearby towns, and Andres Bonifacio immediately called for a general meeting. Various wings of the Katipunan gathered at the house of Juan Ramos in Pugadlawin on August 23, 1896. Ramos was the son of Melchora Aquino, also known as Tandang Sora, and was later acknowledged as the mother of the Katipunan. Philippines as a Muslim Sultanate. The faith was first brought over by Arab traders in the late 13th and 14th centuries, at least 200 years before Spanish explorers first introduced Christianity to the Philippine archipelago. These Muslim merchants came from present-day Malaysia and Indonesia to the southernmost points of the Philippines, the Sulu Islands and Mindanao. The Arab newcomers quickly converted the indigenous population to Islam, building the Philippines' first mosque in the town of Simunol in the middle 14th century. The Muslim settlers didn't just bring their religion and architecture, they also brought their political system. establishing the sultanates in the southern Philippines. Intramuros, Manila, considered the political, educational, and religious center of Spanish Empire in the Philippines and the historic core of Manila. Intramuros used to be an opulent walled city, strategically located along the Manila Bay. It was the seat of Spanish rule from the late 16th century to the 19th century. The walls were constructed between 1590 and 1872, encompassing what was then the entire city of Manila. Binondo, Manila. Driving farther north of Intramuros, across the Pasig River through Jones Bridge, the huge and intricate new Binondo Chinatown Arc greets and bids commuters and city dwellers. This was established in 1594. Binondo is the first and the oldest Chinatown in the world. That alone makes this a worthy historical destination. The location just outside Intramuros was strategic in the sense that the Chinese Catholic immigrants could still continue trading while being monitored by the Spanish government in the 16th century. Up to this day, the area is a hubbub of trade and commerce, mostly run by Filipino-Chinese residents. One of the main draws of Binondo is its colorful and delicious food scene. There are so many gastronomic gems scattered around this extensive food hub, most of which cannot be found anywhere else but in Binondo. Other famous products have branched out, but local tourists still visit the origin of their favorite Binondo grabs. Banawe Rice Terraces, Ifugao. Built by the ancestors of the indigenous people of Ifugao centuries ago, the Banawe Rice Terraces was declared by government as a national cultural treasure in 1973. These terraces embody the culture of the Ifugao people, which was largely influenced by rice cultivation and agriculture. The importance of these terraces is evident in the many agricultural rites connected to rice production. The traditional and indigenous techniques applied in building the terraces reveal the extensive knowledge of the Ifugao people in earthwork, stonework, irrigation, and the preservation of the integrity of the rice terraces. The Banawe Rice Terraces is not included in the UNESCO World Heritage List under the rice terraces of the Philippine Cordilleras due to the presence of modern structures in the area. However, 2 of the 5 listed are located not too far away: the Batad Rice Terraces and the Bangaan Rice Terraces. The Banawe Rice Terraces are the ones that can be seen from different view decks along the main road of Nueva Vizcaya, Ifugao Mountain Province Road. Magellan's Cross, Cebu City. Located adjacent to Basilica Minore del Santo Niño in the heart of Cebu City, Magellan's Cross is one of the most visited historical landmarks in Cebu. The site is said to be the exact location where Portuguese Magellan planted the cross upon his arrival in Cebu in March 1521. As stated on a marker at the bottom of the cross, the original artifact is encased inside the wooden Tindalo cross. The painted ceiling illustrates this historical event. Sandugo Shrine in Bohol. In March 1565, a blood compact between Spanish explorer Miguel Lopez de Legazpi and Bohol chieftain Sikatuna took place as a symbol of friendship between the Spaniards and the Filipinos. This was famously called the Sandugo, a tribal tradition sealing allegiance and confirming solidarity between tribes. Both representatives cut their arms and poured their blood into a cup, divide the mixture equally, and drink them until both cups are emptied. The moment is immortalized by the Sandugo Shrine in Tagbilaran City. But the truth is, the monument does not mark the actual spot where the historic treaty was made. In 2006, the government of Bohol determined the actual site where it happened to be in Luwai, the municipality between Albuquerque and Lobo. Corregidor Island, strategically situated at the mouth of Manila Bay and facing the West Philippine Sea. Corregidor Island played an important role as a military base during the World War II. Nicknamed the Rock, this fortified island was part of harbor defenses, protecting Manila Bay from enemy attacks. The island suffered massive destructions after the war. Most people assume that Corregidor is a part of Bataan because of its close physical proximity and historical ties, but it is in fact under the jurisdiction of Cavite City. Today, the whole island and its ruins remind visitors of the past and serve as war memorials. Here are some of the significant historical sites on the island: Pacific War Memorial, Malinta Tunnel, Filipino Heroes Memorial, Corregidor Lighthouse, Japanese Garden of Peace, and Mile Long Barracks. Cagsawa Ruins, Albay. The late 16th century, Cagsawa Church was established by the Franciscan missionaries. The first structure was burned down by Dutch pirates in the 17th century. It was reconstructed in the 18th century. However, the eruption of Mayon volcano destroyed the church along with the rest of the town in the early 19th century. What we see today is what was left on the church, a portion of its tower. The Cagsawa ruins is co-managed and co-maintained by the municipal government of Daraga and National Museum of the Philippines. It is one of the most visited tourist attractions in Albay. Calle Crisologo, Vigan, Ilocos. Named after a well-loved Ilocano politician and writer Mina Crisologo. The Calle Crisologo is well-preserved Spanish-era street lined with heritage houses or bahay na bato. The cobblestone street stretching from Plaza Burgos to Rivero Street was historically the business and trade center of North Luzon in pre-colonial and Spanish colonial Philippines, and where most of the residents were affluent of Filipino-Chinese traders and merchants. Rizal Park, Manila. Situated on the southern border of Intramuros, Rizal Park is a 58-hectare historic urban park, one of the largest in Asia. Its history dates back to 1820, when Paseo de Luneta was built on the former location of Bagumbayan. During the Spanish rule, especially in the 19th century, the park was the site of numerous public executions. The most notable were that of Rizal and Guborsa. Other historic events held here were the declaration of Philippine independence from the United States in 1946 and the 1986 EDSA Revolution. The most outstanding landmark in the park is the Rizal Monument, where his remains lie unmarked by a statue made by bronze and granite. Declared a national park in 1955 as Luneta National Park, it was then renamed Rizal Park in 1967 in honor of the country's national hero. Sultan Kudarat Monument. Muhammad Dipatuan Kudarat, famously known as Sultan Kudarat, was revered and hailed as the greatest sultan that ever ruled in Mindanao. He was a celebrated warrior, fearless in the face of the Spanish conquistadors who threatened to occupy his ancestral domain. He tenaciously defended the Islamic faith and steadfastly held his ground against the Spanish invaders. 5 de Noviembre Memorial in Negros Occidental, also known as the Negros Revolution. It was the greatest political movement bluffed by the Negrense people that blindsided the Spanish colonizers and resulted in the establishment of the Negros Republic on November 5, 1898. To commemorate this monumental event, a memorial landmark with a replica of a drugstore building that served as a hideout and a place where the Negrense revolutionaries plotted the revolution against the Spaniards. It also features an authentic Spanish-era canon. Rizal Shrine, Calamba, Laguna. Declared by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines as a national shrine. The structure stands on the same location of Rizal family's ancestral house. It is a reconstructed version of the original two-story Spanish-era Bahay na Bato, using similar materials like hardwood, adobe stones, bricks, and capiz shells among others. The reconstructed began in 1949 as ordered by then President Quirino and was launched to the public on the 19th of June 1950 in time for the 89th birthday celebration of Rizal. The only deviation from the original exterior appearance is the walls painted in green instead of the original white. Pagmamano. Mano or pagmamano is an honoring gesture used in Filipino culture, performed as a sign of respect to elders and as a way of requesting a blessing from the elder. Similar to hand kissing, the person giving the greeting bows towards the hand of the elder and presses his or her forehead on the elder's hand. Harana. The harana is a serenade tradition in rural areas of the Philippines in which young men may formally meet single lady visitors. Now that we exposed to technology, ideas of dating has changed. Teenagers often use messenger or DMs to make their panliligaw to the person they like. Barot Saya. Before, Filipinos are very conservative when it comes to what they wear. They are not fond of showing a lot of skin in public, especially in girls. But nowadays, a lot of changes happen to how Filipinos wear clothes due to the influence of Western countries. And that is all. Thank you for watching.